Class 7 ICSE Subject English Topic Poem Govinda's Disciple by Rabindranath Tagore.
Very happy morning, children. Welcome back to our English class. Children, in the last session we discussed about the chapter The Selfish Giant. I hope you have completed all your classwork and everything is over. So in today's session we are going to see a new poem. This chapter 2, Govinda's Disciple, written by Rabindranath Tagore. So he lived during the period of 1861 to 1941. So he is an artist and a philosopher. So he composed music, songs, plays, travelogues and novels. And what is the most important thing? He has written a national anthem, not only for our country but also for Bangladesh. And he was also a painter. And he received Nobel Prize for Literature in the year 1913. And he is popularly known as Gurudev. So what is this poem about? This poem is going to speak about two characters. This Govinda, the Guru, and disciple Raghunath. Okay. So this poem deals with the relation between a guru and his disciple. Disciple means follower. So it speaks about attachment to material things even in those who pretend to be spiritually inclined. So this all belongs to the disciple Raghunath. So children, now let's see the poem in detail.
So children, now you're going to imagine whatever happens in the poem and you're going to travel with me, okay? Far below flowed the Ganga, quick and clear. Above frowned the jutting bank. Hills dark with the woods and scared with the torrents were gathered around. Govinda, the great teacher, sat on the rock reading scriptures. When Raghunath, his disciple, proud of his wealth, came and bowed to him and said, I have bought my poor wealth unworthy of thy acceptance. So, thus saying, he displayed before the teacher a pair of gold bangles studded with costly gems and emeralds. And the master took up one of them, twirling it round his finger, and the stones darted shafts of light. Suddenly, it slipped from his hand and rolled down the bank into the water, and Raghunath jumped into the water. The teacher set his eyes upon his book and the water held, and hid what it stole and ran its way. At sunset, Raghunath came back. He begged him to show him the place where it fell. The teacher took the other bangle and threw it into the water, saying, There it is. So children, now let's see the central idea of this poem. So the central idea revolves around the renunciation of one's attachment to material possessions and to create space for the divinity to enter our minds and make it fertile for spiritual endeavors. So disciples like Raghunath, whose minds are still occupied with wealth and luxuries, can never achieve clarity on their real divine purpose in life, for they are too busy enjoying their wealth. They cannot find God. Okay, so in this poem, the great Sikh Guru Govinda, by throwing his gift of bangles, golden bangles, into the river, offers a profound lesson to such an inauthentic disciple who is still struggling with materialism's hold over their minds and lives. So, if one does not find the God inside, you cannot find nothing in life. The materials, the things we get are nothing. Only your character, your spirituality, your belief towards God is going to be your God in you. Okay, you are going to be number one if you believe in yourself and if you're true to your heart. So children, now you're going to read along with me. Okay. So far below flowed the Ganga, quick and clear. Above frowned the jutting bank. Jutting means extending outwards, the river. Hills dark with the woods and scarred with the torrents. Here torrents means a swiftly flowing river were gathered around. And Govinda, the great teacher, sat on the rock reading scriptures. What are scriptures? They are sacred writings of a religion. And when Raghunath, his disciple, proud of his wealth, came and bowed to him and said, I have bought my poor wealth unworthy of thy acceptance. So he has brought something to show to his guru. Thus saying, he displayed before the teacher a pair of gold bangles studded with costly gems and emeralds. The master took up one of them, twirling it round his finger, and the stones darted shafts of light. So here This follower is displaying a pair of gold bangles which has some gems and emeralds. What are gems and emeralds? They are the stones, precious stones. Okay, so he is showing these bangles to the guru, and the master took one of them and twirling it round his finger, means holding it in his finger, and the stones darted shafts of light. Shafts of light means rays of light. So as he holds in the finger, the rays of light are flowing. Okay, and suddenly it slipped from his hand and rolled down the bank into the river, and Raghunath jumped into the water, and the teacher set his eyes upon his book, and the water held and hid what it stole and ran its way. So suddenly what happened? The bangle slipped from his hand and rolled down to the water. It fell down into the water. So Raghunath is not worried about the guru, is not worried about the book. What is he doing? He's just jumping into the water. So the teacher now sets his eyes upon the book, and the water held and hid what it stole and ran its way. The water, in the water, what is happening? The bangle is carried away. At sunset, Raghunath came back. So evening he is coming back. So he begged him to show the place where it fell. So he's asking, Guruji, please tell me where my bangle fell. I want the bangle immediately. So the teacher took the other bangle and threw it into the water, saying, there it is. So here the clever Govinda, what he said? He said, oh, you want your bangle? Okay, go and find it. Like that, he threw one more bangle there and he asked him to find. Okay, it's a beautiful poem, children. And who wrote this poem? It is by Rabindranath Tagore. So you have to read the poem and you have to record your voice message and you have to send in WhatsApp. So now let's discuss the comprehension questions. So page number 13. Roman letter A, tick the correct options. First one, hills dark with the woods mean. Option A, the hills look dark because of the thick forest. Option B, the hills have trees covered with dark moss. Option C, the forest on the hills have trees with green black leaves. Which one is the correct answer? Option A. The hills look dark because of the thick forest. Second one, scarred with the torrents means. A. The hills have cuts made by the flowing river. The hills are sacred because the Ganga flows below them. Option C. The hills have cuts on them because of the torrential rainfall. Which is the correct answer? Option C. The hills have cuts on them because of the torrential rainfall. Option 3. Next question 3. Why did Govinda throw the gold bangles into the river? Option A. Because Govinda was a man. What would he do with the bangles? Option B, because Govinda did not like the gift. Option C, to make Raghunath understand the unimportance of wealth. So which is the correct answer? Option C, to make Raghunath understand the unimportance of wealth. Next one, answer these questions. Roman letter B. First one, describe the place where Govinda sat reading the scriptures. So how was the place, children? Govinda sat on a rock by the banks of the river Ganga, and around the place were the hills covered by thick forest, and the hills had deep cuts made by torrential rains. Second question, what did Raghunath do when Govinda threw the bangles into the river? What does this tell you about Raghunath? So when Govinda threw the bangle into the river, Raghunath jumped after it into the water, and this shows that Raghunath wealth meant everything for him. So option C, think and answer. You're going to read the question and write it by yourself. So children, now page number 14, Roman letter A. Okay, underline the parts of the sentences that use personification. So what is personification? It is the attribution of human characteristics to something non-human. So first sentence, the river stole my book and carried it downstream. So what is the character here? Stole my book and carried it downstream. It is a human character. And number 2, the sun played hide and seek with the clouds. So what is the personification here? Played hide and seek with the clouds. Third one, the stars are dancing playfully in the clear sky. Answer, dancing playfully in the clear sky. Fourth one, the first rays of the morning sun tiptoed through the big glass of window. So what you have to underline here? Tiptoed through the big glass window. Fifth one, The fire that was running wild was soon brought under control. Here, what you have to underline, running wild. Roman letter F now. What words will you use to describe Govinda and his disciple Raghunath? Fill in the word web. So, I have written my words here. You can use your own words. So, for Raghunath, what will you write? He is money-minded, he is foolish, he is impatient, he thinks only of wealth. Okay, and what about Govinda? He is wise, he is spiritual, he is patient, knowledgeable. Okay, so like this you can use words and fill in the web. So children, in this poem we are going to see a grammar topic, phrase. Okay, so first of all, what is a phrase? A phrase is a group of words that express a concept and is used as a unit within a sentence. In other words, you can say a phrase is a group of words that may have nouns or verbs, but it does not have a subject performing an action. So it may function as a noun, an adjective, or an adverb in the sentence. Okay, now let's see the types of phrases. So now we are going to discuss about the three types of phrases. First one, noun phrase. Second one, adjective phrase. And third one, adverb phrase. So first one, what is a noun phrase? A noun phrase does the work of a noun in a sentence. What is a noun? Noun is the name of a person, place, animal, or a thing, isn't it? And it answers the question who or what. Example, the great teacher Govinda sat reading the scriptures. So what you can ask? Who sat there reading the scriptures? It is the teacher Govinda, isn't it? You're getting an answer to the question who there. So it is a noun phrase. Okay. Some other example I'll tell you. It was a scene of great beauty. The writer was a man of great wealth. So these are called noun phrases. Okay, children. Now next we'll follow to adjective phrase. So what is an adjective phrase? An adjective phrase functions like an adjective to modify, that is to change a noun or a pronoun in a sentence, and it answers the question what kind, which ones, how many, or how much. Example, the bangles were studded with precious stones. So what question can you ask? How was the bangle? How was it designed? It was studded with precious stones, isn't it? And some other examples, the judge was a man of generous nature. And other, Saira owns a watch that is expensive. So here it answers to the questions what kind, which one, how many, or how much. So these types of sentences are called what? They are adjective phrases. Next, the last one is the adverb phrase. So an adverb phrase is a group of words in a sentence that works as an adverb to modify a verb, an adjective, or another adverb, and it answers the question when, where, why, and how often, or how long. Example, Raghunath jumped into the water. So where did Raghunath jump? He jumped into the water. It answers the question where here. So it is an adverb phrase. And some more examples for you. She answered rudely. How did she answer? She answered rudely. God is everywhere. Where is God? God is everywhere. He is omnipresent. And he is a magistrate. Okay, who is he? He is a magistrate. So when you get answers for these types of questions, it is an adverb phrase. Okay, children. Now let's see the exercises from our text. So next we are going to see the exercise in page number 15. Write noun, adjective or adverb for the underlined phrases in these sentences. So first one, their master makes them stand in a corner. So what is it? It is an adverb phrase. Okay. Second question, crowds of flowers covered the valley. What covered the valley? It is crowds of flowers. So what phrase it is? It is noun phrase. It answers the question who or what. And third one, I have never forgotten my mother's advice. My mother's advice is underlined. So what phrase it is, children? It is a name, isn't it? It is a noun phrase. Fourth one, Tagore was a man of many talents. Many talents. So what it is an adjective phrase. It describes something, isn't it? And fifth one, the guards are changed in quick succession. In quick succession. So what it is an adverb phrase. They do their rehearsals with the doors shut. With the doors shut. So it is also an adverb phrase. Okay, and then you have Roman letter H and I that you can do it on your own. Okay, children, if you have any doubts, you can ask me. So children, we have come to the end of this session. So read the poem 2 or 3 times. You record your voice and send us voice message. Okay, and write your classwork neatly and post it. Thank you, children. Have a great day.